Alright guys, so watch this video for Friday, August 18th. Hey, we got some action today. Nasty day in the SPY. That is a big volume, ugly candle. You look to the left and you say, well, there's really no discernible support till 240. I don't know if it's going there tomorrow, next week, or ever. We just don't know. But it's nice to see a little bit of volatility. I've really only got one trade from today that I could highlight, but it's a good example of what we do in the chat room. I actually called ZOES after the gap up. I said, you know what, this is given a setup through 13. And that was about, I don't know, 6 minutes in. These are 5-minute candles. I said through 13, and it did end up going a pretty nice move after that. All right, it was basically one of those sellers come in, sellers fail, red to green, right at a whole number, so a couple inflection points, and it did make a decent little move. But then after that, it came back down, and then Wayne jumped on the mic and said, hey, this hit 1335 here, so it's put in a lower high and it's put in a higher low. So it's kind of consolidating, coiling. It's a strong stock, great relative strength. And so over this little flag, you still have another catalyst above. So if it breaks this flag, in other words, there's a good chance it's going to break the earlier high of day, 1346. So you've got 1347 as another possible catalyst. So Wayne's call was over this flag, 1336, stop, I don't know, 1320-ish, at the worst case, 16 cents. There's the trigger. Then we get the high of day test, then it breaks through the high of day, and didn't exactly tear it up, but from 1336, what I said, 15 cents risk, it did make it all the way to 1378, I believe. So really nice little trade there. If you're a day trader, you understand the money that's made on this move right here. And it was a great low risk with a thesis, with an explanation, the reason for the call, given ahead of time. That's what separates what we do from a lot of rooms. Oh, by the way, I'm in XYZ, or a newsletter that you get in the mail. So, sorry to tell you, I just sold everything I had you buying earlier today or earlier yesterday or loading up on this week. I just sold it. I posted a screenshot of some nonsense like that today. I don't know how I ended up on this guy's email list, but I got an email. Hey, I just sold LUNA 25,000 shares. You know what? Let's talk about that real quick. LUNA, if you take the last, since the pump started, take that out of it, man, this thing, you look at the volume here as I hover over each day. 25,000, 18,000, 29,000. One day it traded 8,000. I mean, this thing is extremely low volume. This guy buys 25,000 shares, sells right here today on an intraday basis, sends out an email telling everybody, oh, I just sold, thanks for your money, 25,000 shares. This thing didn't even trade 25,000 a day until he started pumping it. So stuff like that just annoys me. If you're trying to follow somebody through emails and a newsletter, you're just doing it wrong. You've got to learn a process and learn a setup and learn to trade without checking your inbox. So you get an email and said, oh, I just sold LUNA at 166 or whatever, 25,000 shares. So you go, well, I better get on my broker. Oh, now it's down here. That's, I don't know. I'm sorry if I sound peeved. I just can't stand stuff like that. That's not actionable material. Day traders, you can't do it through emails, all right? The only person making money on something like that is the person sending out the emails. All right, here's my watch list. Sorry to be crabby tonight. I'm tired. Here's my watch list going into Friday. CBI goes back on bounce watch. It did close below 10. Nice narrow range today. I like this one for potential bounce. GoPro, just a red day. Still back in that kind of that buy zone. Maybe we get a touch of the daily 20. I still think that's overdue for a bounce. That's GPRO. JD, this had, I don't know, 3 red days in a row and then a big red day today. You look to the left, it's definitely got some nice support, probably around 39 area. I don't know if it's going to get there. It might, we don't know where it's going to open, but if it sells off in the morning, gets down to this area, I'd be looking for an intraday turn back up. Remember, as a day trader, I'm a day trader, all right? So I look for stocks that can make me money intraday, during the day, and then I'm back to cash before the close. JC Penney's, there's nothing pretty here, but it's just sitting at all-time lows. If you go to 15-minute candles, you can see this thing it gets some, well, I need to go to 5s. It gets some big volume, like 1 million shares right here. I think it was yesterday, almost 1 million shares right here. So it's like people are watching this, and it's sitting at all-time lows. this thing may go bankrupt. I have no idea. I haven't looked at their books. Or it may get some value players coming in here trying to catch a bottom in JCPenney's, in which case we could get a nice move. It's plenty liquid, 17, almost 18 million shares today. So it's something that if you do see a setup, you can certainly have size on it and generally a pretty tight stop. Anyway, it's not a pretty chart, but I think it's worth watching for a bounce. Urban after the gap up, 2 solid red days. I don't know, it could come all the way back down here, fill the gap. It could sell off for the next 10 days in a row. But after the gap up on an earnings beat, I believe, 2 red days. It's, especially if we can get back down to the 20-day, it's time to start watching that for a turn back up. CTL, you had that big red day, nice bounce the next day, and another nasty day. I'm going to go to the monthly chart here. This thing might be at all-time lows. Nope, not at all-time lows, but certainly the last time it was below this was 1998 maybe, 97. So anyway, I think this is worth watching for a snapback bounce. That's CTL, IDXG. I'll zoom in a little bit here. Had this big 3-day run, really big 2-day run, and today a quiet inside day. It's interesting if it can break today's high, over 136 maybe. Might come up and retest this area. Much lower volume today. SPEX, one of the stronger stocks out there today. Big volume. We'll look for a red to green follow through in that one tomorrow. Snap held up very well today. It gave a couple nice setups today, but I didn't see them in time. I'm trying to watch too much maybe. But it held up well in a very, very weak tape. So I think this maybe we're heading back to that 14 area. I think it's worth watching tomorrow, only for an intraday, good intraday setup. And then lastly, RADA. Now this thing's extended. When you get this far away from the moving averages, and I'm kind of mad at myself because I should have had it on watch today after that gap up yesterday and sell off. Sometimes the next day you get a nice pop, and you certainly did. And I just, I noticed it too late today. But it is worth watching. I mean, that is one of the strongest stocks on the planet, so maybe we get a low-risk setup in it tomorrow. Not in love with this list, and I'll remind you one more time what the SPY looks like. But with the volatility coming back, we can catch some nice intraday sell-off plays, reversals, that sort of thing, and hopefully some decent gap plays in the morning. I'm going to leave it at that. Enjoy your evening, and we'll see everybody on Friday.